Hey guys, welcome to Source It Up. My name is Frank. Today I want to go over the haul. I only got a little bit of thrift. So real quick, it's important when you go to the thrift store to be able to just turn around and walk right out without anything and be okay with that. In the beginning, I had a problem with that. I felt like I had to get something. And so I would get stuff that wasn't worth my time, and then you'd spend extra time looking at stuff that just isn't there. If that thrift store didn't put stuff out, or they're not putting stuff out actively at that moment, and you walk around the store real quick. That's why I have a 10-minute rule. If I can't find something in about 10 minutes, I walk out. And then if I find something, then the clock starts again. I got another 10 minutes. And this isn't like an exact number, but it's like a rough estimate of how much time I'm willing to spend in each store so I can hit multiple stores and maximize my time and get some stuff. So I did get a couple things I'll go over real quick. Couple video games here. Nothing crazy. A couple PC games that are, maybe 15 bucks each, and then GameCube games. So for instance, this game has a couple different versions. This is the Nintendo GameCube version, but this game in PS2 is worth about half the price. So it's the same exact game, but for different systems, they're also different values. So you got to keep an eye on that sometimes. And I found more of these Garanimal things. I picked them up. So these are about $5 each in value for $2.99. So that's about 5, 10, 50, 20, 25, like $30 of value each here. So 60 bucks for $2.99 each. I did get a book. It's worth like 15. And then a couple games here. So one thing I want to mention, games, we've gone over so many times. This is worth like 30, the Jenga Tetris. We have this Moods game here. It was $4.99, but it's potentially $45.50. Sealed game here. I got this because we don't really have to spend any time counting it. It's like mint in the box. It was $4.99. It only sells for about $20. But this is going directly to Amazon. All we have to do is throw a sticker on it. Very quick to list. So I'm okay with that kind of ROI with board games like that. This here, this is a puzzle, right? And it's not sealed. I scanned it and it's selling for 30 bucks and it's only $1.99. So I will pick up puzzles when they're more obscure, and basically I got to count to 1,000. These I keep at home with the Legos, and when I have nothing to do or I'm bored, when I'm watching TV or something, I'll grab a puzzle, I'll grab some Legos, I'll count them. I just do that now because I'll be the only one selling a used copy of this, and I can guarantee I can get 25 bucks for that pretty quickly and easily. So that is, sometimes you sit for a long time before I even get to them. It's kind of like an investment for the future for me. So you really gotta consider that when you're getting this stuff. Some things may not be worth your time or space, whatever. I have a shelf at home dedicated to just Legos and puzzles and stuff. So now let's get to everything. Actually, hold on. I did get a pretty cool vintage, I don't know if this is vintage, but a Woolrich camo jacket. It was $7.99. Should probably be able to sell this for maybe like 30 to 40. Pop this over here. Okay, now to all this. Now I also do online arbitrage. I buy in all sorts of places. You can do a lot of online. You can buy on Amazon and resell on Amazon. You can't buy FBA and sell FBA, but you can buy merchant fulfilled and then send it back in FBA. There's a program called eFlip where you can do that just for books, and it helps you identify which ones are profitable. There's other ways you can use eFlip for, I think, music and vinyls and things like that as well. You can go and flip toys. You can do video games. You can do online arbitrage from eBay to Amazon. Let's say you're approved in Lego. You can get used Lego on eBay and sell it used on Amazon if you're approved, and sometimes double your money. Sometimes you can do video game lots from eBay. Then there's other auction sites like Shop Goodwill that are pretty good, but you really got to know, like on eBay and on these other sites, when you're buying this stuff, especially on auction, you got to know that some of these may be scratched up, some may not work, and you have to have options for all these things. So unless you really know what you're doing with electronics, and you're okay if half of it doesn't work or this or that, because a lot of these are untested lots. So some of these games, the titles are awesome, but some are really scratched up. So one way I mitigate the loss and non-working of some of these is, about the consoles, we sell them for parts, and they sell pretty well, and we at least make our money back and then some with certain ones. but a lot of times these do work. Xbox 360s aren't the most reliable though. Most other systems, Nintendo Wii's and stuff, most of the time they work. Sometimes they don't, but Xbox 360s have a pretty bad track record here. So, but with the games, there is a service. What is it called? I'll find this link. I'll put it in the description. You can get a disc resurfacing machine. I was considering getting one. If you really want to get a good one, that's between $500 and $1,000, like an Eco something. I don't know why these names are escaping me right now, but I was considering getting one of those, but then I came across this service where if you send in at least 100 discs to be resurfaced, it's $1.50 each, and we only get that many maybe every couple of months. So I could spend the money up front and then have to have a spot for the machine, get all the, when you buy the machine, you have to get different liquids and pads for it and everything. And so there's maintenance, then you got to buy the materials and everything. And so it's not just a 500 or 1,000. And then, it's just, we don't do enough volume to justify that. Maybe in the future, but right now there's a service you could send in 100 or more and do $1.50 each. And they use like a $5,000 machine and just crank them out. And so we've been doing that, and that actually works really well. One other thing I will note, for instance, this game here is just a loose disc. You could sell just this disc, put it in a generic case, or take a DVD, take the artwork out, and just pop this in there with just a blank case so it's protected. You could sell this by itself because the instructions and the original case for this is considered part of the packaging. You can sell disc only and cartridge only for something like this. So for instance, these little Game Boy games, you could sell these cartridge only on Amazon. We get the little bags, we wrap it in the bag, we put the Amazon label on it, we ship it right in. Now when we put it in the box, we make sure that these are towards the top so the people opening the box make sure they don't miss them and throw them out with the packing paper. So so that's pretty much all of this. And one tip on auctions: when you're bidding on the auction, you look at everything in the lot, read the description very carefully, and basically bid the most you're willing to pay for that, and don't forget about shipping. So you gotta consider all that. Sometimes we make out very well and sometimes we lose money. So, but at the end of the day, with the experience comes bidding better, bidding on more appropriate numbers, and then also parting things out properly and selling certain ones on eBay, certain ones on Amazon, doing certain things. So with video games, if it's like scratched up a lot but it works still, I'm gonna sell that on eBay. I'd rather do that than have a kind of a disappointing customer on Amazon, because Amazon, with the return policy and everything, it's just, you can't really do much. They return it and that's it, it's done. With eBay, when somebody does that, you can be like, oh, can I give you a partial refund? You're in control of the customer service. And so I like selling things that are kind of borderline on eBay. Even though you get less money, I like selling it over there because I'm more in control of the whole process. And if someone disappointed, a negative feedback on Amazon, for instance, for your Amazon store, is a lot more weighty than on eBay. Like we have like 9,500 feedback on eBay and only a few hundred on Amazon. And we've sold about the same amount of volume on both. But people leave feedback on eBay a lot more than on Amazon. So one negative feedback on Amazon carries a lot more weight. Like one of 500 carries a lot more weight out of one of 9,000. So it matters a lot more. So you got to keep that in mind too. When you have something borderline, sell it on eBay. It's not worth it. Also with more rare collectibles and things like that, like for instance, if one of these older games was sealed, you got to be careful on Amazon, because even though it's discontinued and sealed, and wow, on Amazon it's selling for $250, on eBay it's selling only for $150. I would just sell it on eBay, because a lot of times people will buy it. Not a lot of times, but I had this happen more than once, where someone would buy it on Amazon, open it, and return it, and now it's worth $50, right? It's a lot easier to recoup your money on something that is new. Let's say it's new, it's worth 100, and used it's worth 80, right? Because it's a new product and people are buying it and they don't care if it's slightly used or just opened, right? But in old collectibles and toys and things like that, when something's sealed, it has a much higher value. And so when it's opened, the value goes way down. So you got to keep that in mind with Amazon or with returns and things like that. So one other tip I will give is on Craigslist. Craigslist is great for local, but what about Craigslist? I've done this multiple times. What about Craigslist in other states, right? People are willing to ship, you know, maybe 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20, but people, if you contact them, let's say there's a Nintendo DS and a bunch of games, not very hard to ship, it's probably going to be first class, and you'd be like, look, they want 100, it's worth like 300, and you offer them 80 and you pay for the shipping. And so you give them 100, and be like, you know, and I'll give you a couple extra dollars for your time and for the inconvenience, but I would really appreciate it if you could ship this to me. I'll pay via PayPal. We're both protected. Don't worry. But you go through the whole spiel because people sometimes think you might be scamming, and that's why it's only like 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20 who are willing to do this. But a lot of people want to ship things. So it's time consuming, but I've done this multiple times, especially in the beginning when I was starting to resell. I was trying all sorts of different things. I would buy, you know, with video games, that's kind of what I enjoyed and liked. I would look for video game lots in all sorts of parts of the country and other parts, you know, more rural parts that have maybe less local traffic on Craigslist, and I would find some really interesting things. So that's one really cool kind of thing you guys can try out, and you know, you could do a lot of this stuff from the comfort of your home. The ROI is once in a while I'll hit a home run, but most of the time you're doubling, you're tripling, you're quadrupling your money, and you got to work for it. So this is great to keep cash flow going, because this kind of stuff sells very fast, but at the same time you got to test it, you got to know how to sell it, right, where to sell it, you got to have all the equipment to test it, and so that's pretty much it. It's kind of quick today. Hope you guys enjoyed. I believe I'm going to be on 10K's channel later, so check that out. 7 o'clock EST, 4 o'clock Pacific time. So that'd be really cool if you guys can join us, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks.